Listen to a little bit more.
And then you don't want him to pull up at your camp. Like, you taking shots at him, and then some of your camps and some of your people that's under you that may not be instructed enough to handle them, but you know. And see, this is me trying to tell them, like, if you don't want vocab, if vocab has gotten on y'all nerve to the point where y'all trying to call the police on him when he pulls up to the camp, you don't want to have no dealings with him, stop going back and forth with him online. Stop going back and forth with him online. Ignore him. But, you know, if you're putting them in harm's way, and I'm not saying, you know, he's going to do something harmful to him, but they'll pull up with the cameras.
Right, and as soon as they pull up with the cameras, call the cops on him. Because this is not for vocab alone. He's an Edomite. This is not for you Edomites. This is for you Jakes. That happen to be, that we perceive. I can't look at somebody and say he's elect, he's not elect, but you see certain diligent, Peter said this, Paul said this, I always quote these two, give diligence to make that call in an election sure, that you also the same diligence. So if a guy is not diligent, he's most likely not of the elect.
That's how you find out who the elect is, based on your diligence. Are you doing the videos? Are you hitting the highways and byways? Are you being consistent? Yeah, pull up with the cameras. You make them a target because you shooting shots. And then when he pull up on you, then you want to hide your hand and be like, I don't want to keep dealing with you. Brother, we done told you 1,000 times, 100 times, Stop shooting shots. Y'all don't want to deal? Stop shooting shots.
We don't want to deal because he says the same thing over and over again. What about Galatians 3:28? We covered that. It's talking about Israelites. What about the Gentiles, the heathens? Talking about the Israelites. If he rolls up on our camp, you know what he's going to do? He bring up them same scriptures like we never told him. So we can do what we want to with this guy. We can make all the videos we want. But if he rolls up, we calling 911 on his ass. Okay?
At him. Because as long as you shooting shots at him, he gonna end up wanting to pull up. He gonna pull up every chance he get. If you gonna ignore him, ignore him.
That's what we're gonna do when he rolls up. We're gonna ignore him by calling the cops on him. So look, you're disrupting the meeting. If you don't leave, we call the cops on him. Matter of fact, we'll call the cops on him.
That's fullness of Christ. That hence and the borrower is servant to the lender.
And the borrower is a servant to the lender. So you went out here and got a mortgage on your house, you're a servant. You went out here and had to get a loan for your car,
School.
you're a slave. You had to get a loan for school, you're a slave. The borrower is a servant to the lender. Give me Nehemiah 9:36.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 9, and verse 36.
Come on.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Recha HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you other elders, you brethren, you fellow believers of this truth. Shalom to you, brethren and sisters. Shalom to the hopefully elect. Peace to the elect. So anyway, I just want to do a follow-up response, so to speak, off a few brothers' channels. I know I saw Elder Apostle Tahar's live stream. He had it up. Elder Manat Zatba from GMS South Carolina 8. It's quite a few brothers doing videos on this. I know this man, Prince of Power, had a serious problem with Elder Apostle Tahar. Every time I turned around, he was doing a video on him. And I intervened, and then he started doing videos on me. And then we had a follow-up. I'm not going to say debate, but I was on his comment board. And he told me in Galatians 3:28, if it doesn't say Hellenistic, then that's a non-Jew, right? When you look at it in a nutshell, the reason why they said non-Jew is because it was non-believers. And the non-believers were Israelites as well. So when you look at Galatians, Acts 6:1, it said Hellenistic, but Galatians 3:28, it just said Hellenist. But when you go into the older Bibles of the Geneva of the 1599, it actually said Hellenistic as well. But they had to make a separation in these particular type of Jews. As in Acts 6:1, it says the Grecians against the Hebrews, right? Which would have been another separation. But there was a reason why in Galatians 3:28, it says all nations, not Jews, that made Greek their tongue, right? Because you had Jews that made Greek their tongue, and you had Jews that didn't make Greek their tongue. In fact, the Israelites were scattered amongst the Greeks. The Greeks wasn't just white people. The Greeks was multitudes of nations that we were amongst, as the Egyptians and Arameans and, various other cultures and groups. So when you're going out to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, we're scattered amongst them, right? It only makes sense why Revelation 7:9 said multitudes, kindreds, peoples, and tongues. You just look it up in the Greek. But Elder Apostle Tahar brought out the Greek and the blue letter through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, of course. That's why a lot of you Hebrew Israelites are using the blue letter. ISBK, well, we know IUIC don't want to use that anymore. So, but most of these Israelites now are popping up and they're going in the blue letter, but they would not give credit, which, we don't need that. The Lord already sees it. All these guys are phony. I think a lot of these groups take from Great Millstone, and then they make their own doctrines out of it, right? We see this group Genesis. They did the same thing, right? This guy Rap the News. He went into the blue letter. That's another fraud that the Lord took out of here, man. People didn't even ever see what the hell he looked like. I know some brothers in GMS said it was that guy Nate or whatever. I don't know, but he could be him. But this man was a mystery. And this man had people donating, sending him money to fix his car, and they never seen him. He had people think aliens and government conspiracies was watching him. And that's just enough. Just like Genesis, man. They sat up there and sold all those books to wake up the people. But now they won't reprint the books. How many authors print these books and give them to people and sell them, and then later on change everything they wrote in the book, and then just leave the people in some kind of stance of fraud, right? Leave the people lost and mistaken. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy work. But this is all these guys are frauds. And then when I explained that to him in the comment board, he agreed. But he never did a video saying, hey, man, you were telling the truth. Biblical defenders or Holy Bible defenders, you were telling the truth. Yeah, he never said that, did he? Anyway, right? Let's go on to James 1 and 14. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. This man used to follow the truth. He had the headband, he's right here. He's rocking it. He had his shirt fringes. They got the camera showing all them up and down. And some of these men in here might have been sincere. But what happened? This man, Phinehas, he led him astray. You know what I'm saying? Prince Phinehas led him astray. Right? He not carrying on the, he's supposed to be carrying on the image of Phinehas, right? I don't know which one. But he's coming against the children of Israel. And in his mind, he probably believes, I'm putting a dagger through false doctrines. There's something weird about somebody who leaves the truth or claims they're in the truth, and they sit behind a desk all day and do nothing but talk about other Israelites. And on his channel, let me see if I can pull up his channel. Let me see if I can pull up his channel, Prince of Power. Let's see what's on his channel. Brothers did videos on him. Let's see what's on here. This is all One West. One West. Right? Philip Anthony Mitchell, he did something on him. But this is mostly about Captain Desariac, Apostle Tahar. We're like, what are you, stalkers? Genesis. Everybody's wrong but this guy. Now, where's the videos on Esau? Where's the videos on our oppression? You know, just like that, they on a House of Bread, Ariella, him too. Look, we all got different points. You let us dig that out. But he came up here bringing more confusion. You know, just try to make everybody think that he's the sharp one. And all he does is get on Israelites. Well, where's the works of the Edomites, getting on the Edomites and the Christians? None. So he basically made money handling the truth off of different Israelites' discrepancies. That's what he did. I mean, he's good now, right? He's back in the spirit world. He knows he's an Israelite, but his legacy was trash. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the Lord made him like that. Daniel 12:10, many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, so this is why he don't understand. So the Lord just, my opinion, just moved him out of the way. He could have kept him doing what some of the other scoffers do. But if you notice, no scoffer hangs around. Most scoffers are gone. We don't see them no more. They all disappear if you notice that. So if you don't believe we have the truth, and we say GMS, Great Millstone, we don't have 100% truth of doctrine, you know what I'm saying? You still see us, all our scoffers, the ones that scoff against us gone. Now there's IHBK, IUIC. These are all of the main groups. GOCC is even insignificant. You know what I'm saying? But they're there. Proverbs 122. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? Turn ye at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you, because I have called and ye have refused. I have stretched out my hand and no man regardeth. Yeah, we stretched out the hand to this guy, told him repent, straighten his ways out, because at the end of the day, we're not a hate. We don't hate him. Never hated him. You know what I'm saying? He didn't like some of the videos I did on him, and you know, but that's what it was. You know, the scripture says to reprove. You know, means to shame you. That's what reprove mean. But I've called and ye have refused. I've stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But ye have set a naught at all my counsel and with none of my reproof. So the Lord was speaking through us to reprove you. Stop bringing confusion. Okay, so if one doctrine, IUIC ain't right, ISBK ain't right, GMS ain't right, all these groups, House of Bread ain't right, Sakari ain't right, we also damn sure know Genesis ain't right. If they all ain't right, what is your answer? What is your solution? And then he believes in, he don't believe in the new moon. He's all over the place. So when he takes a little bit from everybody's doctrine and makes some comparison to bringing more drama and more views to his channel. And the Lord got tired of him using the truth to make the hustle. I did a video on this guy. He hustles everything. Books. He's like Genesis. He got books and attire. I mean, he hustles every damn thing, and he don't give a damn what camp you in, as long as he can make the money. I'm not against a righteous hustle. You know, you got sisters that make garments. You know, there's certain things they might help. You know what I'm saying? And they're not really trying to overprice anything. These people are selling fringes. IUIC is selling fringes without the garment, and you can buy them both and iron them on together. Like, we're not out there to look super sporty. You can get yourself some cloth, a sheet, right? That's what they called us. They called us men in bed sheets, right? You get some sheets and cut it and slice some fringes and put a border of blue and go out there and teach. Because the fringes is in your heart. It's about what this, how sincere you are, right? When Yahushua spent them days in the wilderness and the men of the Lord, they were suffering. Their garments wasn't spiffy. I guarantee you, when Yahushua went up and Paul and all of them were crucified, they didn't have the most beautiful garments in the world. Anyway, but he has set a knot in my counsel, right? It says, when your fear cometh, I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as a desolation, your destruction cometh as a whirlwind. When distress and anguish cometh upon you, then they shall call upon me, but I will not answer. I guarantee you, this guy, on the way out, he's calling on the Lord to save him. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Now, there's different, for they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord. So then there's different ways to go. There's brothers that's passed in the truth. Right, you pass in righteousness. There's nothing wrong with that. But then there's Jake, who passes scoffing. Are you going to truly stand up and defend the truth? Or are you just going to be a damn scoffer? Any one of us can go. This is how it works. But what you want to do is die in the truth, die in the Lord, pass in the Lord. You know what I'm saying? When your time up, your time is up. But it's time for you to move on. When the Lord calls you, no matter who you are, he calls you. But what did you do according to the ministry? Just like that Comfy. What did he do? Called himself the God-sent comforter that rapped the news, talking about Planet Nibiru that came from some white woman in the 1950s. You know what I'm saying? Having people fix his car. Talking about the Mandinkians. Goddamn reptiles with large penises. This is what this guy taught. I got videos on it. And everybody believed it. And this is why the Lord said, go to the lost sheep. Not the sheep, but the lost sheep. Right? You have the sheep that is of the fold. That's why he said the sheep of this fold, and then the other sheep that are not of this fold. They're the lost sheep. Anyway, Luke 9:62. And Yahushua said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looketh back is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Yeah, you know, it's just plain and simple. And that's why the Lord took him out. He was a nuisance. He was in the way. You know, in these group Genesis, whether the Lord take them out that way or just remove them all together and bug them out, that's the direction they going. Anyway, that's all I have on that. Shalom.